Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. October 17th, 2017.
The Kuhner Report, presented by Kelly Financial Services.
Trump throws McConnell a lifeline. Okay, in an absolutely incredible press conference yesterday, with a Republican civil war now breaking out, with Steve Bannon at the Values Voters Summit over the weekend, now vowing a, quote, season of war, in which he says populists, conservatives, nationalists, Trump America firsters are going to be running and challenging 15 of the 16 Senate Republican incumbents in next year's elections. The only one is Ted Cruz, who will not be challenged because, frankly, he's one of us. But outside of Ted Cruz, all other 15, according to Bannon, are going to face a fierce primary challenge. Most of them are establishment rhino Republicans. And as Bannon put it, the goal is to cut off the oxygen for Mitch McConnell. Take away his support in the Senate, knock out his people, and eventually lead to the overthrow of McConnell himself. In fact, Bannon compared it to getting rid of Julius Caesar. It is now time, he says, for a plot to topple the head of the snake. That is Mitch McConnell. And so yesterday, Trump and McConnell met amid this brewing civil war in the Republican Party. All eyes were on the president. Would he back McConnell, or would he basically show McConnell the door? We got our answer. Listen now to President Trump saying, after a long lunch, we discussed a lot of issues. Mitch, he's my buddy. Roll it, Brittany.
My relationship with this gentleman is outstanding, has been outstanding. We are working very hard to get the tax cuts. We will continue to work hard to get the health care completed. I'm going to be surprising some people with an economic development bill later on, but I haven't even told Mitch because I want to focus on tax cuts and some other things right now.
I admire the president in some ways. He wants to get things done. I understand that. He doesn't want this war in the Republican Party. He wants to get his agenda through. I understand it completely from his point of view. However, to be perfectly candid, like I'm in the confessional, he's starting to remind me now of Charlie Brown and Lucy. Charlie Brown keeps trying to kick the football. Lucy keeps lifting the football in the air. And Mitch McConnell and his buddy, his partner in crime, Paul Rhino Ryan, they keep playing this gag on the president. It's for whatever reason, they keep fooling him, deceiving him, dissembling him into thinking, no, this time, we got your back, Mr. President. Look. With healthcare, it was complicated, moving pieces. We had to thread the needle. We needed 50 plus 1. But this time on taxes, we're going to deliver. Now, apparently they're telling the president they're going to return to healthcare and deliver on healthcare. I'm like, listen, you're going to see pigs fly before you see Mitch McConnell and Paul Rhino Ryan do any serious repeal and replace of Obamacare. And so this is like Lucy constantly lifting the football. You're not going to see tax cuts with these two. I'm telling you. You're not going to see health care reform with these two. I'm telling you. You're not going to see the wall with these two. I'm telling you. It's to me so obvious. Either they're just grossly incompetent and inept, or to me, what I really think is going on here is they're in the pocket of their donors, the Chamber of Commerce, the donor class, the globalists, who do not want Trump to succeed. They don't. They would rather have seen Hillary Clinton become president of the United States, and they are playing him for a fool. That's what they're doing. And they want to drag this out and drag this out and drag this out until the president loses all of his political capital, all of his momentum, and his agenda is dead in the water. Now, it was Mitch McConnell's turn to then go to the podium. And so I want you to think about this, okay? The same man who backed Bob Corker when Corker was publicly insulting the president, Senator Corker, saying that the White House is an adult daycare center and somebody must be missing their morning shifts for Trump to be tweeting. The same guy who backed Corker against the president. Now, he and Trump, oh my God, they're practically golfing buddies. You got to hear this. Oh my God, they're BFFs. They're best friends forever. Roll it, Britain.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. I want to underscore what the president said. We have the same agenda.
Yeah.
We've been friends and acquaintances for a long time.
Sure.
We talk frequently. We don't give you a readout every time we have a conversation, but frequently we talk on the weekends about the issues that are before us. Obviously, passing the budget, which enables tax reform and tax reduction, comes next.
I love him. He and I, we talk on the phone all the time. All the time. You have no idea how often we talk. We play golf together. We talk. We have barbecues together. I said, come on down to Kentucky. We're going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned barbecue. You know, my wife Elaine always says, hey, you know, why don't we give the president a call? We love him so much. We're such good friends and buddies. I'm like, who are you trying to kid? Now all of a sudden, no, really, now all of a sudden, Mitch McConnell has now become Donald Trump's best friend. Now look at them. Oh, we're friends. We talk so often. You guys don't know how often we talk. It's like a bromance now between the two of them. Now, oh my God. Oh, hey, listen, we're really tight. Oh, we go back decades. You know, if I could do it over again, he would be the best man at my wedding. I'm like, who are you trying to kid? Who are you trying to kid? So, Trump was asked point blank. Steve Bannon says he wants McConnell out and the establishment out. And at first, before the meeting with Mitch McConnell, before the lunch, listen to what Trump said. I understand Steve's frustration. I really do, according to the president. Roll it, Brittany.
I know how he feels. It depends on who you're talking about. There are some Republicans, frankly, that should be ashamed of themselves, but most of them, I tell you what, I know the Republican senators, most of them are really, really great people that want to work hard and they want to do a great thing for the American public. But you had a few people that really disappointed us. They really, really disappointed us. So I can understand fully how Steve Bannon feels. Okay?
So basically, and I'm with him on this, hey, look, our agenda's been thwarted from day one. We got nothing. On Obamacare, nothing. On the wall, nothing. On taxes, so far, nothing. On issue after issue, on trade, so far, nothing. Outside of killing the TPP, but that was outside the Senate's control. So, on every major America First item that he ran on, so far, these useless clowns, these Vichy Republicans, have delivered zero, zilch, nothing. In fact, they are leaking to the media, or in the case of Corker, openly mocking the president, or in the case of McCain, and I'm going to get to him at 12:35. Oh, you got to see his latest speech. Ay, ay, ay. When it was time to vote on Obamacare, even though he ran repeatedly on repeal and replace, he didn't just vote no. He went to the well of the Senate, Roman emperor style, looked at the Democrats, gave out the thumb, and went down. Just to humiliate and stick it to the president. Those are the kinds of people that are running the Senate for the Republicans. So you better believe it, Bannon's upset. You better believe it, Trump supporters, the grassroots, are furious. And when you ask him repeatedly for the failure to enact so far his America First agenda, when you ask him, his supporters, the base, who do you blame, the president or Congress? overwhelmingly, it's almost 100%, they say Congress. Say what you want about Bannon. You can call him every name in the book. On this, he's 1,000% right. The rhinos have to go. They're obstructing the president just as much as the Democrats. But now, after that meeting with McConnell, now President Trump sang a different tune. Before the meeting, I understand Bannon. After the meeting, in other words, after they bamboozled him again, little more smoke and mirrors. Mr. President, we got tax cuts. Then the economy is going to boom. It'll be very successful, Mr. President. Then we're going to go back to health care. Even though we failed all the time, dozens of times, we're going to go again on health care. And this time we're going to get it done. I don't know how, but we're going to get it done. And then I'm telling you, you're going to get that wall, Mr. President. We're going to find a supplemental budget. We're going to find something in there. And we're going to get you that money, Mr. President. And we're going to look in really, really good shape. I'm Mitch the Squish. Can you look at my spine? There is none. I'm like a jellyfish. Here I am. So, after he gives him that song and dance, listen to this. Now the president says he wants to talk to Bannon to persuade him, I don't want war. I want a season of truce. Roll it, Brittany.
Your administration, such as Steve Bannon, to primary Republican candidates in the 2018 elections who do not support your agenda?
Well, I have a very good relationship, as you know, with Steve Bannon. Steve's been a friend of mine for a long time. I like Steve a lot. Steve is doing what Steve thinks is the right thing. Some of the people that he may be looking at, I'm going to see if we talk him out of that, because frankly, they're great people.
Who? Jeff Flake? So Steve Bannon, by the way, is not going to be taking Trump's advice. He, in fact, went down to Arizona to campaign for Kelly Ward against the rabid never-Trumper, Jeff Flake. By the way, Ward is going to clean his clock in the primary. So, what, Jeff Flake? You don't want him knocked off? Okay, you don't like that. How about Deb Fischer in Nebraska? You don't want her knocked off? Okay, how about Dean Heller in Nevada? The guy who keeps insulting you in public. You don't want him knocked off? How about in Tennessee? You want Marsha Blackburn or some clone of Bob Corker? You don't want that rhino knocked off? I mean, I could run down the whole list. Who? Who are your friends? So, to me, again, it's as if the establishment keeps dangling, winning. And here is the mother cut. So now Mitch McConnell is asked about Steve Bannon and about his insurgency against him and the Republican establishment. Listen now to this cut, because it is the most telling of all. Roll it, Brittany.
Did you have a chance during your lunch today to discuss the comments that Steve Bannon made this weekend? And what do you make of those comments? Republican Party going war on you.
Look, the goal here is to win elections in November. Back in 2010 and 2012, we nominated several candidates, Christine O'Donnell, Sharon Angle, Todd Aiken, Richard Murdoch. They're not in the Senate. And the reason for that was that they were not able to appeal to a broader electorate in the general election. My goal as the leader of the Republican Party in the Senate is to keep us in the majority. The way you do that is not complicated. You have to nominate people who can actually win, because winners make policy and losers go home.
Bingo. There it is. He revealed himself again, in as clear as you can possibly expose yourself as a creature of the swamp. Winners make policy, losers go home. It's all about winning, baby. It's not about the president's agenda. It's not about upholding the Constitution. It's not about serving your constituents. Hell, it's not about principle. No. It's about, quote unquote, winning. In other words, keeping him as Senate Majority Leader. That's it. That's all. My friends, this guy is the mother of all snakes. I am with Bannon on this 1,000%. And my warning to the president is this. You're going to be Charlie Brown one more time. And when they screw you, and they're going to screw you on taxes, tax reform, and health care again, you're going to see on this one, Bannon is a prophet. 617-266-6868. Trump embraces Mitch. Who do you support, McConnell or Bannon, in this emerging Republican civil war? Your calls next.
Steve's been a friend of mine for a long time. I like Steve a lot. Steve is doing what Steve thinks is the right thing. Some of the people that he may be looking at, I'm going to see if we talk him out of that, because frankly, they're great people.
1227 here on the great WRKO. Okay, President Trump says he will side with McConnell in defending not all, but maybe some of these Republican incumbents from the primary insurgencies that Bannon says he wants waged against the rhinos next year. And so the Kuhner Country poll question of the day is, sponsored by Bill Kelly Financial Services, who do you think President Trump should side with? Mitch McConnell? Text the letter A to 680-680. Steve Bannon? Text the letter B to 680-680. You can vote online at WRKO.com. Lines are loaded. Rick in Weston. Go ahead, Rick.
Hi, Jeff. Great show and great invitation.
Thank you.
I hate to see the president abandon his base and embrace the establishment. It seems like he started doing that right after he made the debate promise to, as point a special prosecutor and look into Hillary's crimes. And then he said, "Oh, I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to hurt her." I don't know what that was about, but somebody ought to look into that, you know.
So, Rick, you see this as a danger sign that maybe the swamp is starting to co-opt the president?
Yeah, I think they just don't respect him. They don't feel that he's going to do anything against crime, and he's just like, he's going to let them go on without term limits. He's just going to let them go on doing the same thing they've been doing all along. The establishment is winning this one, and we have to do something about it.
Thank you for that call, Rick. I appreciate it. Scott in Portsmouth. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I don't see it at all that way. I think Bannon and Trump are moving ahead on the same train. I think that Trump is letting Bannon do his thing, and Trump is rah-rahing behind him. But on the other hand, Trump has got to play with the hand that he's dealt. Even if Bannon changes and everything, the Senate gets reshuffled, it's not going to happen until January 19. So he's got to work both angles, change out the Senate with Bannon, and work with the hand he's dealt with right now.
Scott, so I think what you're saying is basically it's a good cop, bad cop routine. The president's playing good cop. Yeah, I want to work with Mitch, and let me talk to Bannon about some of these challenges to some of these incumbents. Wink, wink. But in reality, he unleashed Bannon, took him out of the White House, and said, wage guerrilla war. Bad cop, good cop. Interesting. 617-266-6868. We'll take more of your calls. But first, let's take it to Jackie Murphy in the newsroom.
My relationship with this gentleman is outstanding, has been outstanding. We are working very hard to get the tax cuts. We will continue to work hard to get the health care completed. I'm going to be surprising some people with an economic development bill later on, but I haven't even told Mitch because I want to focus on tax cuts and some other things right now.
Okay. Best friends forever? Question mark? 617-266-6868. The press conference that everybody was waiting for. President Trump and Mitch the Squish McConnell, Senate Majority Leader. And as Bannon wages an insurgency against McConnell and the establishment GOP, President Trump throws McConnell a lifeline. Good move, bad move. The Kuhner poll question of the day, sponsored by Bill Kelly Financial Services. Who do you think Trump should ultimately side with? McConnell, text the letter A, 680, 680. Bannon, text the letter B to 680, 680. As always, you can vote online at WRKO.com. Brittany, what are the poll results thus far?
88% Steve Bannon, 12% Mitch McConnell.
Let's go to Bruce in Springfield. Go ahead, Bruce.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Bruce.
I think President Trump is a lot smarter than he's acting. And I hope he learned a lesson in Alabama with the special election. It's not about Trump anymore. It's about the movement. And he needs to get on board. And I support Bannon. He is making all the right moves, and President Trump is making all the wrong moves right now, at least publicly. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Well, it's funny you should mention that because you anticipated my next train of thought, which is look what happened in Alabama. You know, Mitch goes on about, you know, winners make policy, losers go home. Well, Mitch, what have you won? I mean, really, what have you won? First of all, on policy, outside of Gorsuch, okay, to give the devil his due, he played the Judge Gorsuch thing perfectly on the Supreme Court. But outside of Gorsuch, what has McConnell delivered? Nothing. I mean, even before Trump, let's just leave Trump out of it. They vowed to defund Obamacare. Nothing. They vowed to defund the executive amnesties. Nothing. They vowed to balance the budget. Nothing. They gave Obama everything he wanted. They gave him a complete blank check. So what victories is McConnell talking about? Now, you want to go into politics. He was the one that backed Luther Strange, and he told the president, no, Luther's the guy, because Roy Moore, he's just unelectable. You know, he can't win. Well, guess what? Roy Moore not only beat Luther Strange, in fact, cleaned his clock. Guess what? He's up almost 10 points in Mississippi. So, what winning? And so my fear is, and it's just a fear, that again, he is being bamboozled when these guys come into a room and they lay out this agenda, that agenda, we'll do this, and this is all about winning. And see, they're playing to Trump's vanity. Trump likes to win. Mr. President, we're winners. We're winners. We're going to win this. You're going to say, we're going to rally in the second half, and we're going to pull this thing off. Did you see Tom Brady and the New England Patriots? They were down by 25 points, but they came back and won. You're Tom Brady. We're going to do this. I'm telling you, that's what they're telling him in private. And I'm telling you that you're going to see this. Jeff Flake is a goner. Okay? Jeff Flake is gone. Deb Fischer could go. Barrasso in Wyoming could go. Dean Heller, if I were him, I'd be very nervous in Las Vegas. These rhinos are going to start falling. Now, does the president want to be on the side of the very establishment that's screwing him and obstructing him and frankly shafting him? Or does he want to be with his own people? Because we saw this in Alabama. The movement is bigger even than Trump. And so to me, I would not have thrown Mitch McConnell a lifeline. I'll be honest. I would have stood there. I would have looked at him and said, you know, Mitch, where are the results, Mitch? Mitch, we're 9 months in. Show me the results. Show me the money. Show me the wins, Mitch. I don't see the wins. Let's go to Andy in Nebraska. Go ahead, Andy.
Dobry den, comrade.
Andy!
First of all, I completely support what Steve Bannon is doing, but I'm going to wait to pass judgment on Trump giving a lifeline to McConnell till 2019 when McConnell's leadership in the Senate could actually be very much in danger, And yes, Deb Fischer in Nebraska, because she's my senator. It's just a question of is there even anyone out there to challenge her? And I think Mr. Bannon might have a very hard time finding someone to challenge her.
Oh, you're saying in Nebraska you think it may be a tough time to topple the Rhino Fisher. I hear you, Andy. Well, look, I can tell you this. I'm going to play a clip. You don't want to miss it. I'm telling you, after the break, you don't want to miss it. This is what Trump is up against. I'm going to play a clip. This one from John McCain. This could be McManiac's lowest of his lows. This is what Trump is up against. Kelly Ward ran a good, tough, stiff primary challenge against McCain. Jeff Flake is essentially a McCain clone. Okay, he's just basically a younger McCain. That's all. That's it. Okay, he's basically McCain, 20 years younger with hair. That's it. How could you not back Kelly Ward against Jeff Flake? The guy literally wrote a book, Flake, that he's hawking everywhere, saying that Trump is a radical racist and extremist. The whole book is written in defending the Republicans against Trump. That's Jeff Flake. You don't want to take him out? Are you kidding me? And you know who's campaigning for Flake? You got it. Mitch the Squish. Marco Rubio. They're there in Arizona raising money for that Judas. Mr. President, for God's sakes, he led you down the wrong path with Luther Strange on Alabama. He's leading you down the wrong path with Jeff Flake in Arizona. It's Lucy and Charlie Brown. Don't kick the football. Kick them. Ronnie in Boston. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Hey, Jeff, thank you very much for taking the call.
My pleasure, Ronnie.
I am learning so much about the art of the deal by paying attention to Trump. I don't think that Trump is making a decision between McConnell and Bannon at all. I think that Trump's already made all those decisions, along with Steve Bannon. And that's why Steve Bannon is waging all-out war from the outside in, and Trump is waging all-out war against these rhinos from the inside out. That's why he's lifted up Mitch McConnell. We get along great. We're going to do great things together. Trump's already made all his decisions. Bannon's already made all his decisions. It's the rhino Republicans that haven't made their decisions yet, and Trump just lifted them up, and now they're forced to, Jeff. They're either forced to stand with the people's agenda or face the wrath of Bannon. This is political just genius by Trump, in my opinion.
Now, Ronnie, when you say he just lifted up McConnell, how do you mean by that? Like, in other words, he's embracing him, so he's showing, look, I want to work, I want to get stuff done, I'm not the obstructionist, this is in McConnell's court.
Exactly, and he's holding them up for all of America to see that, look, I'm trying to work with these people. I'm reaching out in good faith with these people. And if they still don't want to pass tax cuts, if they still want to tank health care reform, if they still want to tank the wall, they've all been exposed. Trump can wipe his hands of trying to work with them, and Bannon is unleashed, and we the people are unleashed. This is a win-win for Trump. It's genius.
Interesting. Ronnie, as always, very good call. Very interesting. As I like to say, interesting. Very, very interesting. Larry in Belmont. Go ahead, Larry.
Jeff, I want to jump off your last caller. That was my theory, too, that you think he's being bamboozled. I think this time Trump's bamboozling the rhinos. Because not only do you have Bannon out there working against the rhinos, you also have now Sebastian Gorka. He's made it clear that he's going after all these rhinos, too. And in the last 9 months, who keeps getting blamed? Trump keeps getting blamed for all the civil unrest, all the stuff that keeps coming down against them. He gets the blame in the press, the Democrats, and the rhinos. So he plays up McConnell, but he's already had his meeting, like this other gentleman said, with both Bannon and Gorka, says, go get him. That way, he's like, hey, I did my best. I backed these guys. You can't blame me anymore.
So, Larry, I kind of repeated this earlier, but you're saying it's almost like a good cop, bad cop routine.
And yeah, in a sense, and he's also playing both sides against the middle, and he's making it so he's blameless. And if they lose, if these guys get taken apart in the Civil War, they can't blame Trump for it because he says, I've been backing these guys. Remember, like you said, the movement's bigger than Trump itself, and I think he knew that with Roy Moore going in, but he appeased McConnell knowing that Roy Moore was going to clean the other guy's clock. And he's doing the same thing again on a bigger scale. Says, all right, I'm going to play nice, get along with everybody, watch what happens when it all falls.
Interesting.
Can't blame me.
Interesting. Larry, so what you and Ronnie are saying is essentially this. What Trump is saying, look, hey, I want to get stuff done. I want to get tax reform. I want to repeal and replace Obamacare. I want to enact my agenda. They're blocking me in Congress. Now, look, here I am. I got my arm around Mitch. I like Mitch. I trust Mitch. Mitch said he's going to get it done. Mitch, get it done. Go out there and win one for the Gipper. Go and do it, Mitch. And so if it doesn't succeed, if the agenda does go down in flames, then Mitch is going to get blamed. The rhinos are going to get blamed. And as this is going he's wink, wink, telling Bannon, you burn these guys to the ground. You're like a Cossack. You wage an insurgency. You're like the Germanic tribes under the Roman Empire. You just pillage and plunder and attack. So he's putting the pressure and the spotlight right on the Republican establishment. Interesting. Very interesting. I hope he's playing chess. You know what the Italians say. This could be a derivative of the old Italian saying. Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer. 12:55 here on the great WRKO. Okay, if you want to see what Trump is up against, if you want to see the ferocity of the swamp and the Republican establishment go after him, his America First agenda, and all of you, everybody that voted for Trump, listen now to McManiac. So John McCain, who, as you know, has brain cancer, he says the prognosis does not look good. He has been going after Trump. He buried Obamacare. He was the key decisive vote that brought it down, the repeal of Obamacare. He now says he's against tax reform. He wants to bury that as well. Well, he received the Liberty Medal. And as he received the Liberty Medal at a ceremony, listen to what he says. Roll it, Brittany.
To fear the world we have organized and led the 3/4 of a century, to abandon the ideals we have advanced around the globe, to refuse the obligations of international leadership and our duty to remain the last best hope of Earth, for the sake of some half-baked, spurious nationalism cooked up by people who would rather find scapegoats than solve problems. Is as unpatriotic as an attachment to any other tired dogma of the past that Americans consigned to the ash heap of history.
This is pathetic. I mean, this is honestly pathetic. So it's obvious. Trump conservatism is nothing more than half-baked, spurious nationalism, cooked up by people who would rather find scapegoats than solve problems. Notice how the crowd just lapped it up. They loved it. They loved it. And then he goes on to say is as unpatriotic as an attachment to any other tired dogma of the past that Americans consign to the ash heap of history. So what he's essentially saying is this: you're stupid, your ideas are half-baked, they're ridiculous, and you're not even a patriot. Trump is not a patriot. His supporters, all of you, I guess me as well, we're not patriots. We're a bunch of right-wing nationalistic Neanderthals who somehow want to end American preeminence on the world stage. This man is a lunatic. With all due respect, he's a lunatic. And notice, he is calling names about Trump and Trump supporters that he would never say about Barack Obama or never would say about Hillary Clinton. You know what he basically just said? He just reiterated Hillary's deplorables comment. That's all he basically said. He just said it in his own way. They're just a bunch of racist, sexist, misogynist, a basket of deplorables who are irredeemable. My friends, the swamp is in trouble, and they're fighting for its very life. Coming up next, Bo Bergdahl pleads guilty on desertion. But he says he's not a traitor. Is he? Don't touch that dial.
The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 93.7 WEEI HD2 Lawrence, Boston. It's 1 o'clock.